we're gonna be smoking up pork belly today. And we're gonna be taking that, slicing it up, and making some delicious pork belly BLT sandwiches. Yeah, pork belly, love pork belly. It's been a while since I've done that, and I haven't used it in a BLT where the B is belly instead of bacon. Bacon comes from pork belly. That's the basis for making bacon. We're just doing it a little bit differently today. First, gotta get our rub ready. We're starting with half a cup of brown sugar. To this, I'm adding a quarter cup of cane sugar. This is not really refined. If you look at it, it has a darker color than sort of the table sugar you'll get, that cane sugar. Almost sort of an amber color to it. And now we're gonna be adding 2 teaspoons of cracked black pepper, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, and 2 teaspoons of cacao powder. Cacao powder is basically cocoa powder. This is a baking cocoa powder, not sweetened. I want to give this a mix before we get our lid on here. And if you have any big lumps of brown sugar, you can break them up in there, but they will dissolve on the surface of that pork belly we're going to be using. Let's get our lid on and shake. Give a quick little taste here. If you've never used cocoa powder in a rub, especially in combination with things like brown sugar or coffee, it's fantastic. All right, let's get our pork belly out here. So this is a 3 1/4 pound piece of pork belly. The skin has been removed, so you don't have the pig skin on there. It's just the layer of fat left. And what I want to do is I want to break this down into 4 pieces. So we're gonna half like that, so it's quarters. The reason I'm doing that is I want more edge surface area exposed to the rub because it's gonna actually go in the refrigerator overnight in this rub. We're gonna smoke it up tomorrow outside. And I want these shorter pieces because they're gonna be like half pieces of bacon to make our pork belly BLT. So let's just go ahead and cut this in half. And then cut each of these in half. There we go. Let's get our rub on it. So different ways to coat these. You can do it on a rack, on a tray, just laying out on the cutting board. I've got them in a bowl. It's a lot easier to clean up. We're just gonna take our rub, start scooping it in there. Move things around a little bit first before I dump the rest. And now we can just dump the rest. And we're gonna get in here, turn everybody over. Everybody covered. I'm gonna get those sides coated in this rub. All right, that's looking good. These are gonna go in a Ziploc bag in the refrigerator overnight. And I'll see you tomorrow outside when we smoke them up. All right, the PBC is fired up with some applewood. Let's get our pork belly on. And I'm putting these on fat side down. People always ask about that, why you put the rods in when you're not hanging food. It's because it is part of the venting system. Helps control the airflow and moderate temperature. All right, let's get our lid on and get smoking. So the pit barrel generally runs between 275 and 300 degrees. And I'm gonna let this pork belly go for 2 hours before I check it. It's probably gonna take somewhere in the 3 to 4 hour range. I don't plan to wrap this today, but there's always a chance I might. So I'll see you back here in about 2 hours. All right, we've been going for 2 hours. Let's check our pork belly and I'll make the decision if I want to wrap it. Looking good. I just want to do a quick check with temperature and tenderness here using my Thermapen. Okay, so our temperature is showing over 200 degrees and we've got pretty good tenderness there at 2 hours. Wow. But you know what? I am going to wrap these for about 30 minutes. So let's get these off here. I know the foil reflects a lot of light, so it might be hard to see on camera, but really good color on these. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of moisture here. I'm just gonna spray with plain water. All right, let's wrap these up, get them back on the PBC. Get our rods back in. Their lid back on, and in 30 minutes, I'm gonna pull these. I'll see you back inside in about a half an hour. All right, here is one of our pieces of pork belly. It's been resting for about 20 minutes in that foil after I pulled the whole package off of the pit barrel cooker. Before we build these pork belly BLTs, we gotta get some slices, because these are gonna be like those bacon slices, but thicker. And it is still fairly warm. Oh yeah. Oh, that is looking good. That is looking really nice. Nice and juicy. But with pork belly, you've got so much fat in there. If you dry out a piece of pork belly, I don't know how you did it. All right, I'm gonna cut some more slices and then we are gonna build our pork belly BLT. So for the bread today, I'm gonna be using this sweet prairie bread. That's what it's called at the deli I got it at. And I've already toasted it, so it's got a nice little crust on it. And we're gonna start with the L. Next, I'm going for the T's, the tomato. I want our pork belly to be right up there on the top of this sandwich. Pork belly time. Oh yeah. Let's throw an extra little piece across there just for good measure. Now, most people on a BLT put mayo. I'm not a big mayo fan where you just use mayo without sort of flavoring it up. So instead today what I did is I made up a very simple honey mustard. It's got maybe a 1/4 cup of honey, couple tablespoons of mustard, and then I gave a few good shakes of Tabasco just to kick it up a slight bit. And we are just gonna drizzle some of this honey mustard right on here. This is totally optional. Let's top it. Let's cut this bad boy in half. There we go. Our pork belly BLT. I've been waiting for this for a few hours. Haven't had lunch yet, so it's time to taste. All right, I'm going in. You know, pork belly is a heavy food. There's no denying that. But when you put some lettuce and tomatoes with it, it doesn't seem that heavy. It's kind of refreshing. Incredibly juicy, incredibly flavorful, holding onto that rub overnight, getting that applewood smoke out on the PBC. I think this is just a really good way to make pork belly and a good thing to use it for, turning it into a BLT. That honey mustard's good, but star of the show is the pork belly. If you've never tried pork belly before, especially if you've never tried smoking it on a grill or on a PBC, give it a shot. Super easy to do, results amazing. That's a killer sandwich.